If you suddenly found yourself inside the game you developed and shot up to level 300 in an instant, what would that feel like? Not just that, imagine all your ability stats maxed out so high that a flick of your wrist can blast apart dragon bones, and even the toughest dragons stand no chance. Turns out, anyone who ends up in a game world like this truly becomes a boss. Our main character, Sakamoto Ren, 29 years old, is a game development engineer who spends every day burning the midnight oil, fixing bugs. Just like always, tonight he's hunched over his computer, exhausted, when suddenly a guy from the red team with piercing eyes shows up and tells Ren that the client wants the game to be easier, maybe add some special perks for new players, like a welcome gift pack. With no choice, Ren starts working on it. He hasn't been home in 3 days and knows he'll be pulling another all-nighter. He opens the game he needs to fix, creates a test character named Satu, and after 30 hours of non-stop tweaking, he can finally go to sleep. But when Ren wakes up, he's suddenly in a strange world. Thinking he's just dreaming, his first instinct is to grab his phone. Except now, he looks exactly like his first year of high school. Even weirder, a game menu pops up in his mind. Staring at the familiar screen, he clicks into the character menu, and sure enough, his name is just like the test character Satu. The map says he's in a place called Ryu no Tani, Dragon Valley. Suddenly, a loud rumble echoes from far away, and Ren quickly pulls up the game menu and sees he's got 3 meteor showers and a world scan skill, exactly what he added to the new player starter pack. Using the world scan, the map fills up with red dots. Level 350 lizardmen are heading straight for him. At level 1, Ren hides behind a rock, but the lizardmen have already spotted him and start shooting arrows. An arrow slices his cheek, burning with pain, and suddenly, Ren knows this is no dream. As the arrow rain pours down, Satu scrambles to another hiding spot and quickly uses every skill from the starter pack. Immediately, meteors fall from the sky, giant fireballs slam into the ground, and every lizard man in Dragon Valley is wiped out. His level rockets upward like a missile, and he even earns the title Master of Dragon Valley. But one lizard man survives because he was too close and not finished off. Just as Ren is shocked, the lizard man throws him a huge sword, challenging him to a duel. The moment Ren picks up the sword, the lizard man strikes his shoulder, and with only a drop of health left, Ren thinks fast, grabs some dirt, throws it to blind the enemy, then hurls his big sword, taking out the lizard man for good. After the fight, Ren opens the menu but can't save or exit, no matter what he does. Even crazier, his wound magically heals and his level jumps to 310, maxing out every stat. Not even cheating in a game feels this wild. That last battle unlocked tons of new skills. He can use Meteor Shower and World Scan anytime. Wanting to test it safely, he finds a far-off place and casts Meteor Shower again. But this time, the blast is massive, and if he hadn't run fast, he might have blown himself up. Ren quickly disables the skill before something even crazier happens. Feeling thirsty, he opens his level 3 backpack, which is packed with loot because he'd removed the item limit during testing. He grabs a water skin, which pops into his hand out of nowhere, takes a sip, and finds it incredibly sweet. Checking inside, he sees he's loaded with more gold than he could ever spend. He picks out a set of top-tier equipment, gears up, maxes out every skill, and decides to rest for the night before his next adventure. On the map, he notices a place called Senshi Yusai, Warrior Fortress, and figures people might live there. He decides to go check it out. On the road, Ren unlocks skills like Hawk's Eye and Keen Hearing, and soon reaches Warrior Fortress, with the nearest town being Siru City. Suddenly, a level 30 flying dragon pops up on the map. Curious, Ren launches himself into the sky after it, only to get knocked down, but he's totally unharmed. Seeing the dragon flee toward the human city, Renan follows, just in case. The same dragon, embarrassed after getting beaten, doubts his own strength, but after tanking a few blows from the soldiers, realizes that the guy he met earlier was just some freak accident. Among the chaos in the canyon, the human troops panic. To understand what they're yelling, Ren instantly maxes out every language skill. Most attacks bounce off the dragon's scales, and when it dives in for a swoop, a girl mage puts up a wind wall and blocks it, only to get sent flying herself. Other mages quickly cast Featherfall, and Ren leaps up and catches the girl mage, accidentally earning the title Hero Who Saves Beauty. Transported into his own game, Sakamoto Ren gets a super boost to level 310 right at the start, gains a mountain of skills just by exploring, has a bottomless backpack, and more gold than he'll ever need. He arrives at Warrior Fortress, saves a green-haired mage from being slapped by a giant dragon, and after landing, they introduce themselves. Before Ren can say much, they're suddenly attacked. The green-haired mage's friends mistake Ren for an enemy. Wanting to keep a low profile, Ren claims he's just a traveling merchant and unexpectedly unlocks debate and deception skills, which he instantly maxes out, then smoothly tells a convincing lie. The shrine maidens actually believed him, and just like that, he passed through smoothly and joined the group on the carriage heading back to the city. Along the way, he saw soldiers taking apart the dragon's corpse, since armor made from dragon hide was incredibly tough, though the meat was almost impossible to eat. Unless you were a beastman or a slave, then it was a delicacy. That's how our main character followed Midori and the others into Siru City. Midori insisted she had to thank him properly, but had urgent matters for now, so she promised to do it later. The night girl took him to the identity registration office, where he placed his hands on the table and his information appeared. But it it still showed his pre-upgrade level, which made him relieved that his true power was hidden. With the ID sorted, he got a residence permit, but as a commoner, he could only stay in the city for 10 days. If he wanted to extend, he'd have to apply again. As they left, the receptionist recommended an inn, not cheap, but otherwise perfect, unaware that money was the one thing he had in abundance. As he walked toward the inn, suddenly his arm was hugged tightly by someone. Turning, he saw a girl clinging to him, and before he could say much, she was dragging him to her family's inn. Glancing at himself, he realized he looked like a 13-year-old boy. So this is what it feels like to be 13, he thought. At the door, he realized this was the inn the night girl had mentioned. Inside, not only did he not blame the girl for pulling him, he actually found the innkeeper quite interesting. But the innkeeper warned that after 10 days, in just 20 more kilometers, the area would turn into a battle zone. Staying here cost a large copper coin per night, but he boldly announced he'd stay all 10 nights. Hungry, he asked for food, and when Marcia, who wouldn't stop chattering in front of guests, annoyed the innkeeper, she was told to clean the cowardly merchants' rooms. Curious, he asked what cowardly merchants meant, and the innkeeper explained that yesterday, those people saw a meteor shower over Dragon Valley and thought the Demon King had come to fight the valley's dragon, so they all freaked out and ran away. He asked if there really was a Demon King, and the innkeeper said yes, but a hero defeated him decades ago. Relieved, but remembering the game's plot, he knew the Demon King would eventually return. Still, in this world, the innkeeper feared a sudden dragon attack far more than the Demon King's return. After eating, Marcia finished cleaning, so he asked her to take him shopping for clothes. She warned him that clothes were expensive, not knowing he was basically a billionaire. Marcia led him to the market, where they saw a man bullying a beast girl. Annoyed, he stood up for her, and using his poker face skill, scared the bully away. The three beast girl sisters thanked him and happily waved goodbye. Then he and Marcia stopped at a jewelry stall, haggled a bit, and he bought her a piece of jewelry. She was overjoyed by his gift, and somehow he ended up buying more items than planned, maybe because of all the money, or maybe the vendor's smooth talk. On the way back, he noticed a carriage carrying slaves, and a princess known as the Witch Princess caught his eye, but what he wanted most was to go back for another meal. On Marcia's suggestion, he ordered a table full of dishes, ate and drank his fill, then headed to bed. Lying in bed, he couldn't believe everything that had happened. He'd really arrived in the game world. He decided he'd collect more info, make the most of this world, settle in for now, and later find a way home. The next morning, Marcia woke him, saying his girlfriend was waiting downstairs. What girlfriend? Turns out it was Midori coming to see him. If you ever traveled into a game you designed and instantly became invincible, this is what it would be like. To thank him for saving her life, Midori insisted on accompanying him around town. He didn't have the heart to refuse such sincerity, so they strolled the city together, eating and sightseeing. Midori tried to buy him a treat as a thank you, but he beat her to it, insisting on paying. Just as they were about to try the local specialty, fried dragon wings, a kid bumped into Midori, smudging something onto her white shirt. As they laughed about it, a spellcaster approached and said he could remove the stain with life magic, then took them to a quiet alley and with a few chants and gestures, erased the mark from her shirt and dried it in seconds. The system told him he'd just learned the life magic skill. With clean clothes, they continued strolling, chatting about magic and how to learn it. Midori said she wanted to be a mage and one day fly in the sky, while he admitted he just wanted to use magic to bathe indoors instead of in the inn's courtyard, which made Midori laugh. She'd never heard of anyone learning magic for that reason, but flying up for a sky date sounded awesome. Midori showed him around, including the city gate and the Temple of 8 Deities, where they saw murals of the hero fighting the Demon King. He thought to himself, hero, huh? I seem to have unlocked lots of titles too. Checking the menu, he found titles like Dragon Slayer and Divine One. Turns out, his meteor shower skill accidentally wiped out the dragon god, but the last hero had appeared over 60 years ago, summoned by a certain country for the Demon King's return, which happens every 66 years. Outside of that, heroes aren't usually summoned, and each Demon King is different. The scariest one leads the entire demon race and can only be hurt by magic or magic weapons. As they talked, they arrived at a busy plaza, where a fat pig priest was ranting about meteor showers, claiming the 3 beast girls were servants of the demon race, and that throwing his holy stones at them would build up good karma. The riled up crowd started buying holy stones and pelted the beast girls. Midori, unable to stand it, jumped from the carriage to shield the beast girls and stop the violence. He rushed to help, using his divine sight skill, and realized the pig priest wasn't the beast girls' master. Their real master was a tiny man hiding under a tree, who was part of a secret society with the pig priest and some other hidden figures in the crowd. Hearing everything clearly, the main character started acting in secret, quietly sneaking up behind the instigators and taking them down one by one, eventually finding the mastermind and kicking him straight out in front of everyone, exposing his scheme on the spot. This man had loaned the slaves to the fat pig priest, passed off ordinary stones as holy stones, and pocketed all the money, when in fact he was an ally of the demon cult. Suddenly, someone in the crowd spoke up, catching the main character's attention. He'd already noticed a demon in the city when he arrived. At that moment, Wusu rose from the ground and began to transform, revealing his true demon form from inside his human body. And with Wusu's death, death, the three beast girls were freed. Without hesitation, the one-eyed demon summoned a magic circle, trapping everyone present in a labyrinth. The main character realized he had triggered an escape the labyrinth quest, but as a game developer, he knew clearing it would be a piece of cake. Coincidentally, he and the three beast girls ended up hanging together in the same room. After a brief introduction, he found out their names were Cat, Dog, and Lizard. Way too random. So he gave them new names: Pochi, Xiaoyun, and Riza. He shared potions, clothes, and food with them since he was now their new master. Opening the map, he used his global scan skill. The complicated labyrinth was nothing for him. Only Riza had combat skills, so he gave her a dagger and assigned each of them a task. Suddenly, Pochi smelled blood ahead. When they got closer, they found a monster eating a human. Riza suggested sneaking around to attack from behind while the monster was distracted, but the main character thought, "I'm a boss, why sneak?" So he whipped out his magic gun, maxed out the skill, and took out the monster with 3 shots. Next, he used the monster's body to craft an even better weapon for Riza, while Riza found a magic box from the monster's body. The magic box could be traded for all kinds of things from merchants. With her new spear, Riza handed her dagger to Pochi. After breaking their chains, the main character led them on a monster hunting, leveling up adventure. Just how strong was he in this pay-to-win game world? The Demon Lord, immune to ultimate magic, was left battered by his casual fireball. Only a hero could beat a near-god Demon Lord, but he, without the hero title, one-shot him with an arrow. After all, God Slayer trumps hero. After grinding through the labyrinth with the girls, he noticed that unless they fought, they couldn't get loot or XP. So as a developer, he quickly came up with a plan. Have Xiao Yu gather rocks the size of the magic box, then have her and Pochi take turns tossing rocks to lure monsters while Riza waited to attack. And finally, he would finish off the monsters with his magic gun. Soon, all 3 girls leveled up and unlocked new skills, and their relationship with him grew. What started as young master soon became master. They ate and drank when tired, napped right on the ground, and washed off dirt with his endless water skin. Anyone watching would think they were on vacation. Along the way, he found a scroll called Little Fireball. Not a high-level spell, but better than nothing. Now the girls could fight on their own. And just as he wondered about tougher monsters, a level 10 slime appeared. He quickly tried the Fireball spell, but the slime was fire-resistant. Maybe his magic was too weak? Riza explained you had to aim for the slime's core and then easily finished it with a stab. Suddenly, Xiao Yu noticed something odd about a nearby wall. Checking the map, he saw a hidden doorway behind it. Out of nowhere, a level 40 horned wolf pounced and knocked him down. He spotted the secret trapdoor, got a clever idea, and kicked the horned wolf into the pit. Moving forward, they found a spider cave where people were trapped in cocoons. Slicing them open, they freed the captives. A slave merchant and a man named Zigjiao were polite, but one punk kept mouthing off, the same guy who bullied Xiao Yu's group. Seeing his attitude, the main character just left him, but Zigjiao warned him a bit before saving him too. As they moved on, they heard fighting ahead, soldiers surrounded by slimes. Unexpectedly, the main character casually tossed a rock and slammed a level 36 demon into the wall. He had the girls split up to fight the slimes, and even the arrogant punk picked up a weapon, only to get flattened and then saved by the beast girls he'd looked down on. The main character spotted Midori trapped by the Slime King and had Lian Meng throw a dart to save her. Midori immediately dove into his arms, asking how he knew the Slime King's weakness. After beating the Slime King, a nun cast healing magic on everyone, and the main character learned the spell just by watching. As they kept searching for an exit, the soldiers found a treasure chest which turned out to be the demon eye from before. Lian Meng prepped a fire spell, but the demon eye used a charm skill, turning the soldiers on each other. Luckily, the main character's cheats made him immune. Lian Meng fired up her attack, but the demon eye resisted mid-level fire magic, so the main character had to step in. Suddenly, the horned wolf reappeared and slammed him into a secret door, but he whipped out his holy sword, finished off the wolf, put on a mask, and rushed back into the battle. Picking up a random stone, he casually tossed it and pinned the demon eye to the wall. Just as he was about to finish it, a magic circle appeared under the demon eye, summoning the Demon King's lieutenant, almost human in form, who gulped down the demon eye and sent everyone flying. Facing the demon lord, the main character drew his holy sword to fight, and the demon, mistaking him for a hero, used reinforcement skills to boost its defenses. But at that moment, the main character was totally unfazed by the holy sword's power. Accepting the reality, he took a look at his limited magic skills. Obviously, using a wide area meteor shower here would be too much, and the rest of his spells would just tickle the Demon King. So he maxed out his little fireball skill and then tried it out. Surprised at how effective it was, even the Demon Lord took it seriously, and everyone watching thought he was casting some high-level magic. Connecting the dots, he realized that to defeat the Demon Lord, you needed a hero wielding a holy sword. While he had the holy sword, he didn't have the hero's title. But if a hero and a holy sword could slay near-god beings, surely a god-level player with a holy sword could do the same. So he pulled out the sacred sword and, with one mighty strike, instantly defeated the Demon Lord. With the battle over, everyone left the labyrinth, and he officially welcomed the 3 Beast Girl sisters under his wing. When Midori came out, out, she leapt into his arms again, and that's when he noticed he'd gained even more titles. After finalizing the sisters' paperwork at the slave merchants, the owner, grateful, decided to give him a few more slave girls. At first, he refused, but the merchant insisted, so he took them in. The next morning, a girl pushed open his door and saw 2 new girls on his bed. The merchant had sent them as a thank you. At first, he was reluctant to accept, but then Arisa suddenly called out her own name, making him suspicious. To test her, he whispered in both their ears. Lulu didn't react, but Arisa did. He ended up signing a clan contract with both, realizing Arisa could understand the island language he spoke, a sign she was no ordinary girl. After learning both were from a royal family in the neighboring kingdom, he introduced them to the Shirin sisters. Arisa, despite her princess status, showed no prejudice or hostility to the sisters, and seeing how well everyone got along, he decided not to worry about Arisa's language skills for now. When he learned the sisters had only eaten wild grass, he took everyone out for a big feast, ordering hearty lamb soup and stir-fried kidneys, joking that tonight he'd need the energy for something big. Seeing their shabby clothes, he also went shopping for new outfits, and on the way back, even gave some food to the wandering Shirin. After dinner, all the girls changed into fresh clothes, and he took everyone back to the inn. The rooms were just as before, but with 6 people, they wouldn't fit. He planned to book more rooms, but the inn was full. In the eyes of regular folks, the Shirin weren't even qualified to stay at the inn, so he considered sleeping outside with them. But Arisa bravely stepped up, saying a warehouse or stable would do, and pointed out how much the sisters had helped people in the labyrinth. Shouldn't their kindness be rewarded? She even used mental magic to sway everyone, softening their views of the sisters. The innkeeper allowed them to stay in the stable, so he thoughtfully made their beds before heading to his room with Arisa and Lulu. In this world, slaves were expected to serve their master, but he was serious and refused. Still, in the middle of the night, he felt someone on top of him. Opening his eyes, it was Arisa. He immediately told her not to use magic or skills on him and made her cancel all spells. He'd already guessed Arisa was special. She'd used magic at the inn to counter the locals' hostility. When he asked her real motives, he leveled up his interrogation skill and learned her reasons were simple. She wanted to serve him because it was love at first sight. Plus, she was also from the island country and had reincarnated here. There are 2 types of people who come to this world: reincarnators, who arrive after dying, and transferees, who are summoned by magic. But he was neither. He just fell asleep and woke up here, never met a god, and started at level 1. Without his cheat, he'd never have reached level 310. Unable to figure it out, he let it go. Just curious how Arisa became a slave. She was originally a carefree princess, but after a civil war, her kingdom was annexed. To appease the people, the royal family was executed, and she and Lulu were enslaved by court magicians. When the demon tribe attacked, they escaped into the mountains and were rescued by the slave merchant. The next morning, Marcia and Midori burst into his room. Midori was shocked to find him like this, and he jumped up, grabbed her hand, and started dancing to explain. With sweet talk, he smoothed things over and flattered Midori so much she forgot her anger. To make up, he bought her a new shawl, then had Arisa gather everyone. When all the girls were present, Midori tossed Arisa a bag of money and sent them off shopping. This was the ultimate cheat. Level 0 start, instantly level 310, infinite storage, endless cash, and a house full of beautiful companions. With a bag of money, Sato sent his harem to shop and Midori suggested they go on a date. But Sato wanted to check if there was a house to rent so the Shirin sisters wouldn't have to stay in the stable. At the property agency, the clerk asked about his budget. Sato, never short on cash, said 2 silver coins would be fine, but even a gold coin was no problem. Soon, the clerk found a few options. They started looking for a suitable house. The first one's original owner had been killed by criminals, so Sato laughed and said they'd better check out another. The second house was right next to the red light district, which was a no-go. The last option was an underground place, but that turned out to be the old base of a criminal syndicate. No matter how hard they tried, none of the houses satisfied Sato. The agent said he'd look for more options that afternoon and told Sato to come back in the evening. Sato asked Midori where she wanted to go in the meantime, and the agent suggested checking out the flea market nearby, secretly telling Midori that there was a play happening in the plaza that would be perfect for a date. Hearing she could go on a date with Sato, Midori got all shy and started fidgeting with her fingers. But just when she thought she could enjoy some alone time, they ran into the other girls from the harem, who were out shopping. Arisa wasn't just wearing a new princess dress, she dyed her hair too. Midori's mood was ruined seeing her time with Sato interrupted. But luckily, Sato wasn't clueless and noticed her disappointment, so he brought her to a jewelry stand and tried to get her a pair of earrings. Unexpectedly, Arisa ran over and said she wanted the same pair, so Midori put them back. Next thing you know, they all went to the outdoor theater to watch a play, but only Midori and Arisa were actually paying attention. Sato found the story boring and zoned out. After the show, Sato told the girls to grab some grilled meat skewers. On the way back, they ran into the injured night girl and her friends, who explained they'd been attacked by giant ants. Seeing their wounds, Midori immediately used healing magic. While they were talking, a shout came from behind. It was the beast girl, carrying a giant ant over her shoulder. Checking the map, Sato saw a whole swarm of flying ants headed for the city. He quickly told everyone to get ready for battle. Even though the city city's barrier stopped a lot of the flying ants. There were just too many and some got in. Midori teamed up with the engineers using magic to take down a bunch. Liza showed off by spearing 3 in a row, and Sato used coins as throwing weapons to secretly finish off a few more. The ones that slipped through were taken out by Pochi and Midori working together. With most of the giant ants cleared, Sato ran over to help the big sister clerk at the store, whipping out a club and knocking out a bunch of ants in 5 seconds. But the basement stairs had been corroded by ant acid. That's when the manager used vine magic to pull the girls up. To thank them, the girl gave both the manager and Sato a kiss on the cheek. It turned out the shop manager was actually a clever forest spirit. With things settling down, Sato exchanged some small talk and left. When he got back, Midori immediately flung herself into his arms again, but she had to leave with the night for patrol duty. To thank Sato and the others for protecting the inn, the landlady had her husband prepare a grand dinner. Noticing Lululu still looked unwell, Sato decided to go find a pharmacy and buy her some medicine. On the way, he bumped into the guys from the Labyrinth rescue. They immediately dragged Sato off for drinks. Heading back, Sato used his sharp hearing skill and caught some suspicious sounds, so he sneaked over and used night vision, spotting a group of monsters circling something. Sato quickly pulled out his magic gun and took them out, only to discover one was wearing a red helmet and, before passing out, said, "Princess, I leave her to you." After some quick first aid, Sato brought the two to the shop, since one of them was a friend of the manager. Amazingly, Sato had just rescued an elf girl, and as soon as she saw him, she fell for him at first sight, practically giving herself to him on the spot. When she woke up at the store, she was so captivated by Sato that the girl next to her, Akane, suddenly coughed up blood, and the big sister clerk panicked, running off to call the priest, with Sato following close behind. After everything was taken care of, Sato returned to the inn and gave Lululu the medicine when she woke up, making sure everyone was settled. Then Sato went back to the shop and found out from the big sister that the two rescued girls were still unconscious. Mia was a little better, just low on magic, and could be cured quickly with a magic potion or by taking her somewhere with strong magic. Luckily, the magic beast from Dragon Valley could help her heal. Just then, Sato heard noises upstairs, and when he and the big sister went to check, they found Mia awake. She was a quiet and introverted girl, but Sato, chatting with her, managed to learn the Elvish language skill and won her over. When he tried to leave, Mia grabbed his hand and wouldn't let go. After leaving the store, Sato returned to the inn and found the Beast Girl sisters playing a word game. Feeling proud, he quizzed them himself and got a laugh out of their food-themed answers. Later, he told everyone what happened last night, and everyone was super interested in the princess. So Sato took them all to meet her, and instead of a royal, they found an elf girl just their age. Quickly, the sisters became friends with her, which made Sato happy and gave him peace of mind. Heading downstairs, he kept the big sister clerk company, and when she asked how he could be a merchant without a wagon, Sato explained his wagon ran off after the meteor shower. She suggested he buy a new one. Her friend just happened to be selling. Sato said he didn't know how to drive, but Lululu piped up that she was an expert driver. So, with no worries about money, Sato bought the wagon on the spot. With a wagon, Lululu took everyone out camping, and afterward, she started teaching Sato to drive. Their first time alone made Lululu a bit nervous, but Sato helped her relax, and soon her affection for him grew. Under her guidance, Sato quickly learned to drive and leveled up the skill to max. On the way back, dark clouds gathered and thunder rumbled, making Lululu so scared she cuddled up to Sato. Suddenly, an oncoming wagon caught his attention, and he noticed an owl in the tree watching them. Just as he tried to get a closer look, the owl flew away, so Sato let it go. Back in the city, Mia was already up and about, thanks to the magic brought by the store manager finally working. So if you liked this anime and want a part 2, let me know in the comments. I'll upload part 2 right away.